To be back.
Loving Jamie's here.
It's gonna be a hot, muggy.
I know, you always bring interesting weather with you.
Weather changes. and bringing weather changes is always, I don't know, exciting to talk about, or at least it's like that no 2 days are the same kind of feel.
Of course,
But today, hot, muggy,
and we're
storm
going to get
potential.
into it.
Yeah.
Thank you all for joining us for KARE 11 News at noon. We're talking about flood recovery. Governor Walz declared a peacetime emergency ordering the National Guard to southern Minnesota.
Yes, and then there are also communities in the metro dealing with rising water. I'll bring you a look at St. Paul as the Mississippi hits different flood stages.
But back to that weather that you and I, we all were talking about happening outside. We feel it. I literally walked in here and I was like, does it feel hot in here to you?
Yes, and it's going to keep building through the afternoon hours. So the ingredients are coming together for what could be potentially a very stormy day. The problem is that we have something of a lid on the atmosphere, just holding everything down. So it's kind of a wait and see scenario, but we'll break it down for you coming up here in the full forecast. Right now, though, 80 degrees at dew point at 62. That dew point will continue to climb. In fact, so much so there are the ingredients you can see for the severe weather outlook today. Storm predictions are just elevated the Twin Cities, Menominee, La Crosse, Rochester into the enhanced. That just came up. So we're going to be breaking down what we expect to see happen today. Already some showers across northern Minnesota. But like I said, southern half of the state, everything is just being kind of held down. So we're going to keep a close eye on how things develop. But right now, as we get closer to the 6 o'clock hour for the Twin Cities, 6 o'clock and beyond is when I think the storm chances start to elevate for us. And things, like I said, the ingredients are there. It's just we're waiting for things to pop. And so we'll take a closer look at your microcast coming up in just a few minutes.
Jamie, thank you. Hey, take a look at this video from Sky 11. It flew above the Rapidan Dam southwest of Mankato just minutes ago. Branches have piled up at the wall and the water held back by the dam appears to be pouring into the river. Right now, the Blue Earth County Sheriff's Office says there's not an evacuation in order or in place, but anyone in imminent danger has been notified. Officials also say the dam is still intact. Well, if you're driving in St. Paul or heading there this afternoon, watch out for closures and rising water. The Mississippi is spilling over into roads and the water is expected to keep rising. And I know CC has been monitoring the levels in the National Water Protection Service and our Sunrise team. You all have been looking into this. What did you find?
We have. So as you can see here, the Mississippi River at St. Paul, it hit a little over 15 feet here just before 10:30 this morning. So once waters rise to 15 feet, that's when things are in that moderate flood stage. So that's where we are as of noon right now. Because waters continue to rise, streets are starting to close for drivers, bikers, and pedestrians. The city of St. Paul sent us a map. Take a look here. A 3-mile stretch of Shepherd and Warner Road is shut down because of flooding. And it's the area on the north side of the river between Eagle Parkway and then Highway 61. You'll also run into closures by Water Street between the Yacht Club and the Marina. And because of that, if you take a look here, Jackson Street and Sibley Street will become two-way streets off 2nd to help with that traffic flow. Now, these road closures will be in effect until the floodwaters recede. Officials say the Mississippi could reach that major flood stage at 17 feet by tomorrow and then crest at 20 feet by Friday. So flooding continuing. Now, just a few hours ago at 9:30, Governor Walz was out surveying the flooding, the damage from the flooding, and he spoke about how this excessive rain is impacting the entire state. He also talked about plans the state has to help. So stick around. I'll have more from the governor in about 30 minutes, Alexis.
Cece, thank you. Waterville is now under a state of emergency as people deal with flooded yards and streets, making travel nearly impossible. Michelle Beck shows us how the National Guard can now help out.
With Main Street looking like a river, the Minnesota National Guard is said to help out the city of Waterville with all things flooding, offering a glimmer of hope in this historic challenge. It's in fact the largest flooding Waterville has ever experienced, according to county leaders. No one has been forced to evacuate at this point, but all weekend long it's been all hands on deck, family, friends, and volunteers striving to protect what they can. City leaders say 60,000 sandbags have gone out to the people in need, 1,000 volunteers helping to pack those sandbags to guard against the areas still under threat. Others have already faced their fate.
As far as I know, I'm going to try to rebuild if possible. And hopefully I won't lose everything I got. I hope. Because I want to retire happy. That's for sure.
Yeah, really an emotional time, as you can imagine, for a lot of families here in Waterville. Well, help remains at local level as well. Le Sueur County Emergency Management writes online on Facebook that help remains available for those in need, for those especially wanting evacuation assistance, as well as help with sandbag delivery or placement. In Waterville, Michelle Beck, KARE 11 News.
Michelle, thank you. An hour west of Waterville in Medalia, police are calling the flooding there an emergency situation. As the water rises, they're telling people that they have to evacuate in place. In last 24 hours, police posted on Facebook saying, quote, in order to prevent sewage backups, there are emergency pumping sewage down the streets to the river. That means the standing water could be contaminated. Recovery efforts are underway in southern Wisconsin, where a tornado swept through Saturday night. It hit near the Janesville area, leaving behind a lot of damage, including leveling a church. That did not stop the congregation from meeting yesterday. More than 100 people gathered in the rubble, then worked together to pick up old photos, pieces of stained glass, and the steeple bell. Still unclear if church leaders will rebuild in that same area. Well, to stay on top of the weather, grab your phone, scan that QR code right there on your screen to download the KARE 11 weather app. It has live updates, radar, and custom forecasts whenever you want. You can find it for free in any app store. A man is in critical condition after being shot by Brooklyn Park police. The BCA is now investigating, but here's what we know right now. Police were called to a home on Queens Gardens North for a 7-month-old who was not breathing. The baby later died at the hospital. Family members say the dad threatened to harm himself and locked himself in a room upstairs. When police arrived, they found a man with a gun and an officer shot him. The Hennepin County Sheriff's Office is looking into the death of the baby. Well, tomorrow at the state capitol, groups from the University of Minnesota will testify about an alleged pattern of anti-Israel and anti-Jewish incidents on campus. The Jewish Community Relations Council, Hillel, and university reps will be speaking on the campus climate following a days-long encampment that ended early this last month. Now, protesters called on the university to divest from companies they say were complicit in war crimes. Lawmakers are expected to question the school's handling of the incidents and outline a plan to move forward. Today marks 2 years since the Supreme Court Dobbs decision effectively overturned Roe v. Wade. The anniversary comes as the High Court considers another potentially monumental abortion case. Amy Kiley reports.
Emergencies in pregnancy can happen in a moment.
Today marks 2 years since the Supreme Court overturned the federal right to abortion access.
If I have an emergency, my first call would be my lawyer and my second call would be my doctor.
The Biden campaign says it's holding more than 50 events to rally supporters around the anniversary. The Women's March is calling for strikes in multiple states.
The Dobbs decision ushered in a new era of American politics. It changed for women, but it also changed for democracy.
Others celebrate the High Court ruling.
Roe v. Wade and that decision of it being overturned has given the decision back to the people at the state level, and every state will look different. I think that's appropriate.
This patchwork of state abortion protections and restrictions is the result of the Dobbs ruling.
This is a state that's clear about protecting women and creating equality.
We have women that are suffering, that are driving hundreds of miles for an abortion.
Now, some patients and doctors say the state laws can create confusion, fear, and heartache.
What is often the most devastating time in your life, a complicated pregnancy, and then so much unnecessary suffering added to that because of the strict abortion bans.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
We're following 2 stories of major U.S. companies facing potential legal trouble. The first involves the European Union, where regulators accuse Apple of breaking its new rules related to digital competition. Apple is accused of preventing app makers from pointing users to cheaper options on other venues. The commission is also opening a new investigation into a fee Apple is charging developers for app installations from outside the App Store. In response, Apple says it's confident its plan complies with the law. New reports say U.S. prosecutors could be calling on the Department of Justice to bring criminal charges against Boeing. Reuters reports the government will have to decide if it will charge Boeing by July 7th. Last month, officials determined the company breached an agreement from 2021 that would have shielded it from charges linked to 2 deadly crashes of their 737 MAX jets. Boeing has previously said it's honored the terms of that settlement. Meanwhile, 2 astronauts are stuck on the International Space Station as NASA puts the return trip of Boeing's Starliner on hold again. It's been over 2 weeks since the astronauts piloted the spacecraft to the ISS. It's a mission that was only supposed to last a week, but some system issues have delayed their return. Now they won't start heading home until July at the earliest. NASA says the Starliner would be able to travel home in an emergency.
Well, the week of gymnastics is here. Some of the best gymnasts in the world are making their way to the Twin Cities this week for the U.S. Olympic team trials. The trials officially begin this Thursday at Target Center. To get things started, Governor Walz and other state leaders are at Target Plaza today to declare this gymnastics city, U.S., Us Week, and that's going to be here in Minnesota. Now, the U.S. Gymnastics Olympic Trials will run from the 27th through the 30th at Target Center. Starting today, we will have live coverage throughout our shows. Be sure to stick with KARE 11 on air and online for all things Team USA Gymnastics.